Now let's move on to some other stories where hundreds of members of the African diaspora, both in person and online, gathered at the Institute of African Studies, University of Ghana, Legon, to mark the 100th anniversary of Black History Month. The Diaspora Town Hall and press conference focused on citizenship in Africa, especially Ghana, and what it means to diasporans. Pan-African TV reporter Prosper Amedeka has more in the following report.
The event, organized by the Decade of Our Repatriation in collaboration with the African American Association of Ghana, Ghana Caribbean Association, and the Central Region African Ascendants Association of Ghana, formed part of the ongoing DOOR initiatives. Proceedings opened with a brief invocations acknowledging ancestors and the significance of the centennial moment. A press conference followed by organizers and stakeholders presented a resolution jointly authored by representatives of the participating organization and the Universal Pan-African Diasporan Coalition of Ghana, responding to a circulated notice issued by the Diaspora Affairs Office of the President outlining citizenship requirements for historic diasporans, described by stakeholders as a historically unique group. Concerns raised included DNA proofs, high fees, compressed timelines, and a 2-year residence permit prerequisites, among other items. The town hall portion featured public questions and testimonies, a Black History Month centennial keynote, and a panel discussion on the theme, "What does citizenship in Africa mean to me?" The gathering also confirmed action steps to pursue engagement with government institutions. Speaking at the media engagement, Associate Professor at the Institute of African Studies, University of Ghana, Ɔbenfo Ọbádélé Bakari Kambon, said the purpose of convening during Black History Month was to move from commemoration to practical action.
In terms of Black History Month, this is 100 years of Black History Month. It originally was started as Negro History Week by Nana Carter G. Woodson. That for years we had the Black History Month Film Festival here at the Institute of African Studies. To sensitize people, what I realized, I teach level 200 required for us. This means all the University of Ghana students. When I ask them, what do you think of when you think of Africa? They say, oh, famine, disease, corruption, all these things. I say, I'm surprised we didn't mention writing because the origin of writing is here. I say, I'm surprised we didn't mention mathematics because the oldest mathematical instruments in the history of the planet Earth are here. The first multi-genius stereotype, the first female ruler workable. From all of these students have never heard of them because they've only been exposed to miseducation and not education. So as Nana Omoale, also known as Malcolm X, said, of all of our studies, history is best qualified to reward our research. And with that regard, with Black History Month, it's the one time that people are really focusing in. Some of us is 365 days plus an additional one on the leap year is 24/7. But for others, this is a time of year where people start focusing in on our history, and this is an opportunity for people to understand what's the history of citizenship, how did it come about, all of these different things, and who are we as a people? Because as Nana Kwame, also known as Nana Kwa David Whitaker, says, he says, what we do for ourselves depends on what we think of ourselves. What we think of ourselves depends on what we know of ourselves. And what we know of ourselves depends on what we have been told about ourselves and by whom. So all of those things are part and parcel of what Black History Month is all about.
Co-sponsors and presidents of the African American Association of Ghana, Shannan Nana Akosua-Maji, said the meeting was aimed at clarity, fairness, and a workable pathway for diaspora applicants.
So thank you for that. And I just want to welcome everyone here. And I just want to say it's nice to see some old faces from, something in Jamaica we say, old times are back again. So it's nice to have the African American community here with the Ghana Caribbean Association. This is the way it should be, and this is the way I remember it to be. So we all have to make a commitment to make sure that we continue to honor this. So before we go on any further, I want to say a special thank you to the Kwame Nkrumah Institute of African Studies for allowing us to use this space today. So thank you. We call him Nana, we call him Prof, we call him Dr. Kambon, we call him all kinds of things. But we want to say thank you today for making this space available. Also, I want to say thank you to, you get that, thank you. And we've been meeting for about 2 days now. Most of us, if you look at our eyes, our own eyes.
Organizers say the resolution calls for an urgent meeting with relevant ministries, directors, and presidency and demands immediate suspension, review, revision, and republication of the circulated criteria along with clearer definitions and decision standards. The resolution also calls for representation of historic diasporans in institutions where diaspora policy is developed and implemented, arguing that decisions affecting historic diasporans should not be made without participation, citing the Ghanaian proverb when your hand is inside, they don't eat and leave you. In addition, stakeholders are calling for the removal of DNA as a prerequisite, elimination of what they describe as exclusionary proof burdens inconsistent with restoration and self-reparations, removal of the 2-year residence prerequisites, and fee reform including reduction and waiver structures. For Pan-African News, Prosper Amedaka's report read to you.